everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making amazing, delicious, airy, pillowy donuts. We're gonna use a fake brioche dough for those donuts, and we're gonna fill them with a pastry cream. Pastry cream recipe I already have on my channel, so I'll just link it here. Let's start. A stand mixer with a hook attachment for your dough because it's going to save you a lot of force. But if you don't have that, you can just knead your dough by hand or have your husband or boyfriend do that for you. Here I have my new machine. I mean, it's not really new. I had it for a while. I just didn't really want to use it for the videos because we don't really have this in the United States. I had my parents ship it for me from Ukraine. It's Kenwood stand mixer that has a bunch of features in it. It is amazing. I love it. It even has induction inside, so you can proof your dough in it, and this is what I'm actually gonna show you because we're gonna proof the dough inside of this. But I also gonna show you the way to proof your dough in the home kitchen in your own oven. So first, let's talk about the dough that we're gonna make. We will make a fake brioche dough. The reason why I'm saying fake is because we don't have that much time to mix it, and it's just for the donuts, not for the bread. So we're gonna use a lot of egg yolks. We're not gonna have egg whites. We're gonna have some butter, and we're gonna have some salt added at the end of the kneading process. The reason why is that salt and butter stops gluten from development, and we want that gluten to develop in our dough. So let's start by just combining our flour, water, kefir, sugar, and yeast. First, I want to combine my fresh yeast and the flour. So I want to crumble it up a little bit like this. And just with my hands, I'm going to mix yeast with flour, so they're all evenly distributed throughout the dough. I like using fresh yeast because, first of all, they're more healthy to use. They're more strong, so your dough will rise 100%. And dry yeast is basically just chemicals, so I really don't like to use them. However, I will put the difference in measurements on your recipe card down below the video, how many grams of fresh or dry yeast you need to use instead of fresh yeast. So right now we're gonna start with the wet ingredients. So in the bowl of my mixer, I'm gonna put kefir with water, egg yolk, and sugar, and then I'll have my flour added right away. And we're gonna start our mixing process. We're gonna mix just a little bit, and then we're gonna put our salt and our butter. Starting to knead my dough on a low speed because this is how we normally do with the hands. We don't go right away really fast. We just slowly put in all the ingredients together, and that's how we're gonna put our mixer on first speed or even on stir if you're using KitchenAid. Now that our dough is almost mixed together, we're gonna add our salt and butter. And putting it back to mix for at least another 15 minutes until the dough is silky and shiny. The amount of this dough is enough for 12 donuts. Now I want you to see how the dough is in like the middle of the process. It gets a little sticky. It doesn't look like it's looking right yet, but we're just waiting until the dough is completely ready for us to use. Forgot to mention that your butter should be cold. It shouldn't be room temperature. It should be cold from the fridge. Our dough is almost ready. If you notice, it started to come off the sides, and we just have a little bit to pick up from the bottom. The bottom is also picks up already, if you see. So very soon we're gonna have our kind of brioche dough ready for the donuts. I'm so excited. Then we're gonna have it rested for just a little bit, and then we're gonna form our donuts, have them rest a little more, and fry them. I can see that our dough is ready. I'm gonna show it to you in a little bit. I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna stop it actually already. Pull it up and see like the whole dough is on the hook. It's barely sticky. It is a little bit, which is fine because that's a dough, but it doesn't stick to my hand. It's really, you know, like I can work with it. Gonna take it off the hook. Put some flour on my surface, just knead it with my hand just a tiny bit, and then I'll put it back to proof. If you feel like your dough is sticking a little bit to your hands, I just put some water, some cold water in my hands, just don't dry it out, and pick up your dough. But the dough has to be like this. Let's check for our gluten window. Here it is. With a spatula, I'm gonna transfer my dough on my very slightly dusted surface with flour, and I'm just gonna make a little bowl out of the dough so I can put it back to proof. It is really much better if you have an actual, like a little plastic scraper to scrape down your bowl. I didn't, so I did it with spatula. It was a little bit of a challenge, but it's fine. I wet my hands a little bit, my surface is a little dusted, and I'm just gonna knead my dough a little bit more. It's a little sticky, but it's all fine. I just want to make a little bowl. I actually did have a little scraper, so this is gonna help our dough. But we just want to create this little tiny beautiful bowl. Look at this perfect texture. Look at this perfect bowl of brioche dough. Now I want to clean up my bowl a little bit because I don't want anything to stick to my nice dough. You can wash it too, but everything comes off. Also, I recommend you take just a nice and clean new bowl if you're gonna proof it in your oven. So what I do for proofing inside of the oven is I just warm up my oven to at least 90 Celsius, 90 to 100 Celsius. This is a perfect temperature for dough proofing. If you have a thermometer inside of your oven, you can just turn on your oven. I just put 350, and then I wait until my thermometer reads 90, and then I turn off my oven and I put my dough inside for at least an hour. Now that I'm gonna proof my dough inside of my machine, inside of my Kenwood, I'm gonna put it on proofing option, which this machine has, which make it so easy. It's really great machine, however, it's really impossible to find here. It is worth it though. I shipped it from Europe. I really wanted it, you can tell. Our dough already doubled in sizes. We waited about 40 minutes for that to happen. Meanwhile, I prepared my pastry cream that I'm gonna fill my donuts with and placed it in the fridge. Again, the recipe I already have on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna just link it down below. So yeah, let's look at our dough. Look at this pillowy, perfect brioche dough. Now I'm gonna dust my surface again with a little bit of flour, and I'm gonna roll my dough. I'm gonna roll it into rectangular shape, and we want the thickness of about 7 millimeters. And now I'm gonna roll it out. Look at these beautiful air pockets. Let's make sure it doesn't stick, so always. You can also help yourself with your hands to spread your dough. Here we go. I'm just gonna check really quick with my ruler. It's 1 millimeter, but I need 0.7, so I'm just gonna roll it a little more. I think I said 7 millimeters. No, I definitely did not mean that. Now I'm gonna cut out about 8 to 10 donuts. I think we're gonna be able to make around 12 out of it, but I have my little cookie cutter here that I'm gonna cut out my donuts with. The closer you cut it out, the better. We don't wanna waste any dough. If anything, we can just put the dough back together, roll it out, and make more donuts. So let's start. So I have 12 donuts on my surface. I'm gonna cut out 12 squares to place each of them on the square from parchment paper. And we're gonna let them sit for another 30 to 40 minutes, basically so they rise again twice or even 3 times. I'm gonna put it on my stove because I have something that's baking in my oven, so it's pretty warm, which means it's gonna be enough warm for my donuts to rise. We're just gonna cover it with the very slightly wet towel. I got my squares and I'm placing them on the tray with the parchment paper. My donuts are going on top. Don't worry, you can put a little parchment paper over. It's fine as long as we're gonna fit all our donuts. It's just this way, it's so much easier to fry your donuts. You can also just dust a little bit of flour, but it doesn't guarantee that your donut is gonna come out from it. So I just prefer to play it safe and place it on individual parchment square piece. Now this is tiny bit wet towel that I'm gonna cover my donuts with and place it on top of my stove. Because again, I told you that I have something baked, that means our stove is a little warm and it's perfect for our donuts to rise. Our donuts are finally ready to be fried. They're already like twice bigger, as you can tell, especially with this one pretty guy. Oh my God. Let's fry these beauties up. We're waiting until our oil will reach 160 Celsius. I'm gonna translate it to Fahrenheit and I'll write it down below. Right now it's at 140, we're almost there and we're gonna start frying our donuts. I'm gonna add just 2 donuts into our oil. We're gonna fry our donuts for about 30 seconds to a minute from each side until golden brown. Our donuts are ready. They're beautiful. Look at this. Beautiful golden brown goodness. They're so light. They were not that tall when I proved them for the second time, but look how they puffed up. It's crazy. They're beautiful. They're delicious. They're technically, you can even call them sourdough because fresh yeast is a fresh natural bacteria from a natural fermentation. But anyway, we're gonna fill them up with our pastry cream that's already in a piping bag, and I have this piping tip that I use for filling the donuts or buns. Let's see how our donuts are inside. I'm gonna pick one donut and show you how it looks inside. It's probably beautiful. Look at this airy goodness. And this is all for our cream, this space. These donuts are so light, it's freaking crazy. Let's fill the donuts up. I like to fill them up from the sides, so we're just gonna go like this and fill the donut up until the cream is coming out. Finishing touches, we're gonna add some powdered sugar on top. You don't have to do that. The donuts are already sweet and I'm not gonna do that much, just a little bit for the looks. And our tradition is to try our beautiful dessert.
Can't wait. You see that? Jeez.
The cream.
It's so yummy.
Right?
Especially the cream.
Mm-hmm. You have to make it at home.
I love my job.